So I've been no life in Diablo 4 since the season started, and been messing with the source a lot, trying to figure out what I can do to make her not die right away and do massive amount of damage. Oh man, after messing with a builder and messing with a bunch of Paragon boards and the glyphs, and trying to figure out the cheapest route to get to 6 glyphs and have all of the glyphs activated, the nodes and everything, I think I finally figured something out. This is a fast moving, freezing, stunning, immobilizing build that relies heavily on crit damage and just blows everything up. Still a work in progress, but it's been a lot of fun to play so far, and it kind of reminds me of how the sorceress used to play back in the D2 days, where you would teleport all the way around and then you would just spam down blizzards and just watch everything get chunked for heavy damage. I'll have the link of the build in the description below. Quick TLDR of it though is you want to have Raiment of the Infinite so you can teleport and pull everything in the Frost Nova, blow it all up quick. You want to have the Frost Blitz aspect that gives you an additional Frost Nova charge. You want the conceited aspect on your gloves for the extra damage with barrier active. You want aspect of disobedience on your pants for that extra armor. Aspect of the binding embers for your boots, so when you pop your flame shield you can run around and immobilize everything. I'm not sure if you can immobilize and freeze things for extra damage. You guys know the answer to this, leave a comment below. For your weapon, you want to have aspect of control. That gives you percentage bonus for more damage to immobilize stunned or frozen enemies. For the amulet, you're going to want to have the glacial aspect. This will cause your blizzards to spawn exploding ice spikes that deal massive amount of damage when you stack the blizzards on top of each other. For your ring, you want to have aspect of the frozen tundra. That's going to increase your spikes radius by 50%, which is going to make them overlap and do massive amount of damage for enemies that are in between. And for your other ring, you want to have aspect of the umbral. This is probably the whole reason why this build works. For every time you CC something, you gain 4 primary resource. So if you're teleporting around and pulling things in with your Raiment of the Infinite, that's CC, that's mana back. You Frost Nova, that's mana back. The resource in this build is nuts. And then for your offhand, you want to have the Storm Slow aspect. For the weapon gem, you want to have Emerald, because then it'll give you extra critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies. For all of your armor, you want to put Ruby for that life. For your amulet or your rings, it doesn't matter. It depends on what the colors are and the stats that roll and your fixes and stuff like that. You want to have the Barber Wrathful Heart. The amount of crit strike damage that is built into this thing that explodes is the reason why sorcerers are critting for like massive amount of damage right now. You also want to be running the Telrashas. And for the third one, I haven't figured it out yet. It's either Tempting Fate or Determination for that extra resource generation. The skills you're going to want to be running are Blizzard, Flame Shield, Ice Armor, Frost Nova, Ice Blades, and Teleport. And for your enchantments, want to run Firebolt and Teleport. For the boots, you want to try to find boots that every time you use a cooldown, it reduces your dodge by X amount of seconds, because then every time you use any cooldown of your spells, it's going to give your dodge massive amounts of CDR, which means that you'll be able to teleport even more with the Raiment of the Infinite, because remember, whenever you have the teleport enchantment, it replaces your dodge with teleport. Also, another important thing to note is for your main hand, you want to make sure you get a dagger, because that's going to give you increased damage to close enemies, which is an affix that you don't have to roll on one of your 4 fixes that your weapon already has. Sorceress is back, baby!